bernama hijau fish ya?
Fourteen reporters, 12 teams.
Arif, can you ask them to come in the bernama and all that? Bernama, the table, the bernama, you all that, ask them to come in now.
Big thanks to YB William. YB William, thanks for your help.
You only thank YB William, you never thank us.
Only yourself.
This DB.
I know, where are the rest? Where
The one must really ask them.
Where my title, Rajiv? He's still okay, he said something.
Okay, members of the press, you're ready. I would like to start the proceedings. Thank you all for coming. First of all, a big thanks to YB Maria Chin, YB Ronnie Liu, YB William Wong, YB William Leong, sorry, I always mix you up with my friend, William Leong, YB Samsul Firdaus, and also Mr. GT Tan, who is actually the MCA PJ chairman, am I right? Yes. Now on that note, YB Sivarasa couldn't make it this morning. On that note, we had a meeting on Wednesday night, a kind of a preparation meeting on Wednesday night. And YB Sivarasa, I was very glad to hear him say, this is a matter across political divide. It is a matter of grave community interest to PJ residents. So whether we are from which side of the political divide, it doesn't matter. This morning we are here to just say one thing, and that is we object to the PJ dispersal link cutting across PJ. Yeah, so after this, I'd like to start off by allowing the YB to say a few words. I say first. You can see my smile because I'm wearing a mask. Shall I take off my mask?
Take out.
Yeah, mix it handsome face.
Too handsome. Okay. I'm the chairman of Scrap Highway team that organized this morning's street protest. So thank you everybody for coming forward, especially the residents from far and wide. Some are not even living along the alignment of the highway where they came. Thank you very much for that. Now I'd like to just touch on policy matters because I think all the grievances from the residents, we have heard a lot of them, environmental intrusion and traffic congestion that this highway will bring. But I'd like to bring out three policy and guideline matters. Number one, PJ, as we all know, has launched this campaign to be low carbon footprint city by 2030. Yeah. So this highway is definitely incongruous with the aspirations of PJ. If it is built, you bring in pollution, dust, noise. It doesn't work, it doesn't gel. Number two, back in 1992, the so-called Earth Summit in Rio, Brazil, MPPJ already participated there. They brought the idea back and they started implementing, as far as I remember, in 1997. But someone told me last night it was probably officially implemented in 2015. But whatever it is, now it's 2022. LA 21, which is Local Agenda 21, definitely is implemented by MPPJ, and it encourages community participation and partnership. And that's why I think today I enthuse everybody to take ownership of your rights, to show the authorities in a very silent, as you see, we do it silent, non-violent ways, to say that we are not happy. We don't want this highway. All right, that's number one. Number two, of course, LA 21 also provides for protection of environment, preservation of forests, and climate control, and so on and so forth. Okay, number three is this long time in place act called Town and Country Planning Act 172. Among the provisions of this act, which is to regulate and control proper planning of a city or district or anything in the state, not only Selangor, in the whole of Malaysia. Okay, this act is in place. Now, among the provisions, it says to improve the living well-being of the residents, to protect the environment. In fact, it spells out preserve landscape, preserve trees, protect forests, improve communications, manage traffic, and at the end, the last phrase, the last verse is to facilitate towards sustainable development. So again, on account of these three policies that I'm bringing up, this highway is a no-no. We do not have to wait for plans to be submitted. We do not have to wait for EIA, TIA, SIA. Just nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud, and on top of that is a toll highway. It's not going to do Pakatan Harapan government too much of good because of, like, yet again viewed as reneging another of their manifesto pledges. Sorry, RYBs, I'm just speaking in my mind, you know. So yeah, okay, that's all I have to say. The rest of it, I'm sure the residents all have shared their grievances, and those are very valid too. Those are very valid too. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Well said, well said.
You don't want to say something, each of you, just a few lines? Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you, please do.
Okay, thank you everybody for attending this protest. It's a big start, yeah, because so many residents actually came forward. I'm here mainly because I feel that this is not just about Petaling highway and what it is going to destroy along the way, but it is actually to protect our environment, our livelihood, and how we want Petaling, Jaya and Malaysia to actually develop. So we are saying that, you know, why is it that the government, globally can actually promise low carbon footprint? Recently, the Minister of Environment and Water went overseas and says that, you know, 2030 we will have low carbon footprint, and we have made a lot of promises along the way, but yet, you know, the federal government gave a blanket announcement despite all the protests that happens in Petaling, Jaya and also in Selangor. He made a blanket announcement to say that he approved, or his ministry has approved 3 highways, PJD, Bangi, and also the KL Node, which he has no right to do that, no right to actually make such an announcement when we know that in our law we need to actually present the critical reports, social, economic, and the traffic. Nothing has been presented. It was already rejected previously, rejected twice in Selangor, and there's no reason why such highways need to be brought back. And I really urge the government, whether it's state or federal, think of the alternative. Don't take the easy way out. Think of alternative, and we have alternative. Other countries have shown that they have actually gone into public transport, underground highways and things like that, buses, and have more walkways so that we can have bicycles and motorbikes and so forth. There are so many alternatives that we can think about. So let us not put profit before lives. Let us look at our environment in a much more sustainable manner, so that it brings joy and also a healthy livelihood to all. Thank you.
Yeah, I will be very brief. I'm Ronnie from PJD. We said no to KIDEX. That was when Khalid Ibrahim was our Menteri Besar, and I was the Exco in charge of local government. We said no. So after that, when I was no more in the picture, when Asmin Ali was the MP, again we said no, and then Asmin Ali actually came out to say no KIDEX. And then later on, they changed the name to PJD Link, but I was told it was basically more or less the same thing. More or less the same thing, but they called it a different name. And now the MP is Amiruddin. Again, we said no to it, and I personally brought the matter to the Presidential Council of Pakatan Harapan, and then eventually the 3 state chairmen of Pakatan Harapan government from DAP, PKR and Amanah jointly signed a statement in 2021 to say no again. As a government, we will not have nothing to do with PJD Link. I think now the residents of PJ started to get worried because they saw not so clear-cut stand of the present government. I understand your feelings, but please rest assured that as a government, as Pakatan Harapan, we will say no. We have already said no in the past, and we will say no, continue to say no, whatever name. Okay, we agree that this is not a viable project. It doesn't do very much in terms of dispersal, but the kind of damage, like noise, like dust, like the land, the sky scrape and all that, doesn't make the highway worth it. Okay, so it's a no. Just now somebody said, why DAP, not many people here? Please, I do not know what's the reason, but as far as the DAP party is concerned, no to PJD link. Okay?
Not for approval.
No. Thank you. William, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm William Leong, I'm MP of Selayang, but I stay in PJ. Elevated highways are useful. There are areas where, because of hills or geography, you need an elevated highway. But as an urban traffic dispersal system, it has failed. It has failed for the last 50 years. And for the last 30 years, cities like Montreal, in South Korea, Seoul, they have been demolishing and replacing their urban elevated highways. They have found that it doesn't work. It does not reduce traffic. It only increases traffic. What is needed is a change of policy. Follow the other countries, as YB Maria is saying, into what is called transit-oriented development. That is, you build your development next to public transport, bus stations, MRT stations, walking distance, where you have a better living condition. Other countries, other cities are doing that, and they are tearing down their highways. Why are we doing something that is 50 years ago? 50 years ago, people worked in KL. Petaling Jaya is the bedroom. When the children have grown up, the children now have moved to Damansara Utama, to Puchong. And the next, if this follows, the grandchildren are going to move to Klang and after. And all this requires them to have cars because our public transport doesn't work. So previously, like in my area in Selayang, if you stay in an apartment, you have one car. But when your children grow up and work, there are 5 cars. Every working person in Malaysia needs a car. There are now 33 million cars and only 32 million people. How many highways can you build? So it is time to change the development policy. And we hope to start in Petaling Jaya that the 3 governments, the local government, the state government, the federal government must realize we need one centralized policy, a transit-oriented development policy where public transport should be the way. And I hope that our governments will listen. It is not depending on which party. It is for the good of the residents. It's the good for Malaysians. We all need a better transport system and a better development policy. Thank you.
Thank you, William. YB Samsul, mau cakap?
Very good morning and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I feel grateful and thankful for that I can join together the program that's bringing the voices of Petaling Jaya residents that's protest the proposal of PJD link because Petaling Jaya already has 7 highways. Yeah, contains the Sprints, Damansara Puchong, Federal Highway, Kesas, and then still in the progress Damansara Shahlam. So the problem is all of the 7 highways already built in Petaling Jaya city. So and also it increased the problems for the surrounding areas for the of Petaling Jaya. So this is, I think, to be fair for the residents, that's the proposal of PJD links should be protested, and then on the behalf of state government, it's unapproved still because it's the announcement of the approval only made by the Ministry of Works, Public Works only. So without the participation of state government, not yet approve the PJD link because consider we must to make our stand to be fair to the PJ's city's residents for that. So not to forget, in the next state legislative council meeting will be held on this end of July. I'm together with YB Rajiv, YB Jamalia, and YB Lim Yiwei. Together, we will bring the voices of Petaling Jaya's people, inshallah. So thank you for the compliments.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. David Yeo. There are 3 points that I would like to raise today. There are 3 points. First of all, when PJ was declared a city in 2006, it was put into place the requirement for public participation, public consultation and approval before any approval is given for any projects in Petaling Jaya. Remember in 2006, when PJ was declared a city, there's a requirement that for all projects in PJ, you must get public participation and approval before you give consent to any development projects in PJ. So the question to me is, I've seen for the past 10 years, I think PJ has gone for the worst. A lot of projects today tak dapat approval pun from the people. That's one. And number 2, for this PJD link, alright, for this PJD link, will the local government and the state government get the participation as well as the approval from the people, the stakeholders? That's my first point. The second point is, you see, when the federal government looks at highways, they look it from the micro point of view. Alright? Macro. The state and the local government will have to look it from the micro point of view. So it is up to the state government and the local government to evaluate this project, consider its merits, look into the merits of the case before giving any nod or disapproval to it. And of course, without the state and local government's green light, this project cannot take off. Alright, dia akan menemui jalan buntu lah, the Malay say. Alright, so I think this is the second point. The third point is, sorry, I'm not trying to insult anyone, but I just want to know whether Pakatan Harapan's promise for no toll is still on or not. Is it still on today? Because if it's still on, then very simple. The state government and the local government can just tell them, look, the precondition, syarat utama, is that no toll lah. If you want to charge toll, then we cannot have this so-called highway. Alright, very simple. We will just kill the case.
Even without toll, also we don't say we don't want it.
Correct. That's why I said even before you study the merits, if you put the condition of no toll,
Also we don't want it.
that's right. That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay, even way before you consider the merits. So put that as a precondition if the promise is still on. These are the 3 points that I would like to make. Thank you.
If you don't mind, can I add on just 2 points to what Mr. Chuki says? Federal government, yes, looking at it from a macro viewpoint, but on the macro viewpoint, it is a fact. It is a fact that the federal government under Highway Planning Unit (HPU) and also under Lembaga Lebuh Raya Malaysia has got no master plan for highways. Not only in Selangor, in the whole of Malaysia. There's no master plan. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned just now, but I don't want to brag. I'm an engineer. I practiced 40 years, my own consultancy firm. So I think I know a little bit about what I'm saying. You must have a plan. You must have highways interconnecting seamlessly from one to the other. Right now, PJD link, if I just name one interchange, the rest I don't want to talk about it, at Jalan Penchala, whether traffic from the north or from the south, it discharges into the sidewalk of Jalan Penchala opposite the police district headquarters. Right? Can you imagine big highway discharging traffic down to a small road, a local road, which I think the developer is trying to encourage the cars to then belok kiri, go to Jalan Barat, and then link to Federal Highway. You see, so that's how they link from proposed PJ dispersal link to Federal Highway. It's through 2 local roads. That's not the way to do. No master plan, number 1. Yeah. Number 2, what's the point you mentioned just now? The
Toll.
no toll. Apart from toll, this is something I'm fond of commenting. It is a private finance initiative. One monopoly developer. No open, transparent tender. Right? I think we all know what it's about. And I've also written a letter to Malaysia Kini, which was published in full. I'm thankful for that. I said apart from that, it is very, very difficult to estimate accurately the cost of constructing such a highway, 34.3 kilometers. You don't know what is the ground conditions underneath, which will affect the cost of your foundations. There may be underlying services that need to be diverted. That's cost again. So the best, most diligent developer will have to pad up his cost because he has to take all the risk allocation, especially I think on the 4th of June, I think Fadila came up with another announcement that government no funding, all the risk to be taken by the developer. So if I were a developer, I will pad up all my costs. So is that the best way to build a highway, to give optimized returns to the people who are eventually going to be paying for the highway? Why our tolls for generations to come? You know, so I like to add on to what Mr. Chidi says. Everything is wrong with this highway, the conceptualization of it, the implementation of it, and what I mentioned about being against all the policies that are in place, in existence. Thank you.
Yeah, members of press, please ask questions.
One last comment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. My name is Michael Kam. I'm the organizer of today's event. Now, in this event, we have actually 3 parties. It was started with a scrap. I know the name is peculiar, scrap highway. It's stakeholder come residents against PJD Link Highway. So, who are the stakeholders and residents? All of you. Those of you in PJ, around PJ. Now, the second thing is, this thing would not have happened, yes, without the support of YB Maria, the push, initial push from YB William Leong. Now, the other thing is, we also thank SNTP, say no to PJD Link Org, who's based in Damansara team, our teams here. Yeah. Now, you see, end of the day, then we ask, where's the leadership, where's the umbrella, where's the governance? So, governance is by our MP, who's actually helping us to drive this, by GT, all of you, yes. And then the project management team is all of us. Yeah? You have different ideologies. Myself, we are project managers, engineers. These guys are all subject matter experts in IT, solutionists. But eventually, even with the coalition, they're all legal people. Then we have Mala from Section 22, the chairman. Now we have 20 over RA representatives here. Today, about 120, 130 people. So we thank your support. Now look forward 23rd of July, 3 weeks from now. Take a break, we'll come back. Yeah? So see you all very soon. Okay, so,
members of the press, please feel free to order your
yes, please. Today is on YB Maria. Thank you for coming.
23rd.
Okay.
Okay,
23rd July.
Okay, next course of action, as I've been briefing some of the members of the press who asked me, the immediate next course of action is 23rd July. It will be a similar silent street protest at another location yet to be determined, but it will be further to the north, Bandar Utama, Damansara Jaya, or Damansara Utama, or even Jalan Harapan near the hub, Jasmine Towers, and so on. Yeah.
Yes.
The best is to keep tab with this on this website. Say no to pjdl.org. Say no to pjdl.org. All the announcements will be made there.
And the Facebook.
And Facebook, and Facebook, and also of course YB Maria Chin's or even YB William Leong's Facebook page. Okay. Then following that, we're going to amalgamate by then all the RAs, which we hope to increase to 60, including those who may not be cited exactly along the alignment, but the wording I came up with to encourage the others is, if today you think you can sleep on the fence, tomorrow it may be your nightmare. Another highway may be cutting across your neighborhood. That's the way I put it. So we hope to get at least 60 RAs, amalgamate all the strength in numbers and diversity, and sign petitions to Menteri Besar, to the State Exco, as well as we have plans to present a plea for mercy to the Sultan of Selangor, so that he can understand, his subjects in the city of Petaling Jaya in Selangor is pleading for his mercy and for his empathy and understanding, so that we can put off this highway. Anything else to add?
Well said.
Maybe from
Any questions further from the press, please? Okay, do get your drink, please. I purposely, want you all to get away from the sun and the traffic noise and have some refreshments.
Were you guys briefed on the final alignment? Is there any consultation?
Anyone knows better to answer this?
I
Selva?
mean, I've met the developer that was like maybe a year, 2 years ago.
Before
It's
MCO.
still this one. There's no confirmation at all.
This is the one that runs in the river reserve of Sungai Penchala. Yeah, very close to us. In fact, just behind this building, and it gets out at the place very near a church called Renewal Lutheran Church. Fly across Federal Highway to Vivekananda School and then on to Penchala.
Basically all the way
down-
elevated.
Yes, sir. Yeah, all the way elevated. Yeah. On this point, the developer seems to be practicing an approach very different from the Say No to PDEX days that I was also involved along with people like Selva those days. I was the secretary of Say No to PDEX. Those days we could approach them, we got EIA, but now they seem to be keeping mum about everything, which is also not a healthy sign because on account of what I said about public participation or what Mr. GT Tan advises, but this is the one we have, and I think Sheila, you're aware there was a 3D video that was built on this 2D graphics plan, right? Yeah. Okay.
Any other question?
Will there be a meeting with relevant ministers?
With the minister, we should aim for it because the parliament is opening soon. So I'm encouraging the residents to actually go to parliament and demand for an answer from the from the government, as well as of course the state government.
Maybe will you be presenting a motion in Parliament to cut the Minister of Work salary by $100?
Good idea.
I mean, that's what it is.
We have put in our questions in Parliament about
Question not
this
enough,
highway.
it was a full motion that you can on it.
We want
Not
to
$100 not enough, to cut one man's salary.
do, we want to do more than that.
Yeah, we want to stop the. Any question from Vietnam?
I have put in a question in the coming state assembly to say no to PJD.
All right.
Mike, anything else?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay,
Gentlemen,
thank
please
you
stay
again
on,
to the YBs. Thank you, Mr.
we have some drinks and food for members. Please take order. Please make your order. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, well done, well done.
Thank you all.
Give ourselves a big clap.